2018, I think, when 30 to 40 presidents signed to the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. You could see the momentum. You could see the dreams of our forefathers, from Nkrumah to your own president here, Kenyatta, to so many who had really dreamt of a united Africa. And it's within our grasp, the fact that we can trade together. So I don't think it's the lack of, we see it. But then we ourselves, the people, are the ones at times who drive. So one of the things we are pushing is the non-tariff barriers. You see a lot of advocacy groups pushing, our poultry must be protected from the neighboring country. Our milk has to be protected. Safeguard our grain. We are losing out to the competition. So it's a two-way street. I wouldn't want to lay the blame on either feet. But of course, as duty bearers, the leaders must play the key role of putting in place the appropriate policies, infrastructure, and the rest to get us out. But we as well can play a role to push our governments to actually make these the appropriate decisions. So it's a tough one, but I would look at it on both sides, though placing most of the responsibilities on the duty bearers.
You're talking more about a united Africa, and for the longest time, African presidents have tried. The President William Ruto said that we should have one currency, but as much as we want the continent, Africa, to grow and to speak as one and take advantage of certain, like you say, we should take advantage of the moment. But if we're having infights amongst themselves, for example, in Kenya, the borders here, we're still fighting for borders here and there. The currency seems to be like a pipe dream of having one currency, or the continent becomes a pipe dream. So if we are fighting amongst ourselves as we speak on different terms, how then are we saying that we can sit together and think of a better Africa moving forward that can take advantage of certain situations and have good things come out of it?
I think you need to take a step back and look at what has been achieved. There's been quite a lot of progress. If you look at the East African community, we do have one of the most vibrant integration agendas, right up to a monetary union. We have the customs union. We are right now in a common market, and we are actually negotiating a monetary union and a political federation. Now, some may look at this as pipe dreams, but there are steps being taken to align monetary policy, to put in place the actual basics for trade to happen across the borders. One of the things we've been working with as an organization is on cross-border trade. If you're a fish trader selling fish, say, from Turkana all the way to DRC, you're going to have to change your currencies maybe 3 times, from Kenya shillings, Uganda shillings, and then the DRC currency. And so we've been working with the central banks and the East African Community Secretary to look at a solution that allows cross-border payments to happen seamlessly without traders losing currency. So there are initiatives underway. Are they moving fast enough? Maybe not. They could be more speed. And I think what is happening right now in the world shows us that we cannot afford to waste time. At the continental level, we know that there are efforts for payment system that cuts across and allows the continent to actually make payments within the continent without having to first transfer into the dollar. And that, again, has also gained momentum in the last year to get all the commercial banks and the central banks buying into this Pan-African payment platform.
So you're trying to say
there are a lot of initiatives, but the momentum needs to, I think, pick up. The speed needs to be picked up.
So are you trying to say that the payment systems within Africa is reliable enough to ensure that there is smooth trade?
Right now, no. And that's why we are facing all these hurdles within the whole financial architecture. And that's why you see with our president, and especially the President Ruto, has really been very firm and strong in his voicing on a different financial architecture. There's a lot of momentum. There's been a lot of talk at the global level. What is the kind of financial architecture that will allow Africa to actually trade itself and move out of poverty? There's the whole conversation around debt. And you've also seen around the ratings. Right now, I think Africa is coming up with its own rating system because of the poor ratings that have been coming in the last few decades for both our financial institutions, but also at country level, making it harder for us to get affordable capital. Debt. That's why our debt burden has also grown. So there's a whole momentum being driven by a number of key leaders, yours being President Ruto being one of those, that is really driving a push for the restructuring of the whole financial architecture that came into place after the World War. Yeah, and we are seeing momentum for that. But again, like I say, for the actual actual payments to now happen, that needs to pick up.
And this is my problem, that we keep seeing this potential. It's like we're looking at something in the mirror. It's like, ever since I was a child, for crying out loud, we are seeing potential. We're looking at potential just walking by. This potential is like this thing that we keep looking at. People gather in Kigali and have a conversation about the very thing that they know unequivocally will move us from here to here. They know. But you know what we've been doing since Kigali? We've been pushing these trade barriers. It's as though, are they stuck in the ground? Do they not move? But if we mirror the same groups, blocks of countries around the world who suggested this thing in the first place, they had a conversation, and you know what the next thing that they did? They implemented the thing. That's why, for example, we gave this example